Today we're talking about diabetes.
Okay.
Yes,
What
yes,
about
and I
this
know.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do that.
Let's do this. This is
You
good.
like that one?
This is good.
I don't
2.0.
want diabetes. Tell me, Kim, how to stay healthy.
I like that.
Don't want diabetes.
Okay.
They call it sugar. Tell them, Kim.
You're a mess. You're a mess. Anyways, okay,
All right,
so let's
That's
get
it. That's
to
your fine intro.
let's get serious. Let's focus.
Bring it in.
Let's bring it all in. Okay. So we're talking about diabetes today, and first I kind of wanted to explain what the system is that's supposed to be working, that isn't, that makes you have diabetes, right? That results in diabetes.
Okay.
So basically, my phone can just not stay up for this video. Basically, what happens.
Phone got diabetes.
Basically, what happens is that when you consume food, right, it's broken down into glucose, and you need that glucose to go into your cells so you can get energy, right? And insulin is the key that opens the door to let the glucose into your cells. So if the insulin doesn't work, the door stays closed and the glucose stays in your blood instead of going into your cells.
Okay, so literally the insulin is the heat.
Yes, literally.
Okay, cool. All right, glucose. I'm trying to keep up.
Right. Stay with me now.
So opening up the cells.
Yeah, so basically, so letting the glucose get into your cells,
Okay.
right? And so what happens when people have diabetes is either your body does not produce insulin, it doesn't produce enough insulin, or sometimes you can have a resistance to that insulin so it doesn't work in the way that it's supposed to. All of those things add up to the door not opening
Okay.
and the glucose staying in your blood instead of going into your cells.
So in an instance,
You could have the key. The key just might not fit.
Kind of, yes.
sort of kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good. The key isn't working, and
Yeah.
so the door won't open.
Right.
You know, something like that.
Okay.
And so there's a few different kinds of diabetes, which I think a lot of people don't know. Type 1 is really an autoimmune disease, type 1 diabetes. So your body is fighting against itself, and it doesn't produce that insulin,
Okay.
right? Your body kills the cells that produce the insulin. And so you don't have the insulin in there to open the door for you to get the glucose out of the blood into the cells, right? And then if you have type 2, now that's going to be a combination of genetics and lifestyle factors. So that's more the one that people kind of are talking about, you know, what you've been consuming has gotten you to this point, or, you know, your blood sugar is high because of, you know, all the sweet drinks you've been drinking, that kind of stuff. That's, I think, what people are more accustomed to and kind of have a better understanding of. So really what we want to focus on today is making sure people understand kind of how it works and ways that you can protect yourself. Of course, Benny's favorite question is, how does your diet play a role? And this is the number one thing for diabetes, is making sure that you're staying active and you have a good diet, because you have to think about it. If the door isn't open, right, and the glucose can't get out of your blood into the cells, and you're overloading your body with sugar, it only makes sense that you're gonna have a high level of sugar in your body that's not doing what it's supposed to do.
So that's why they call it sugar.
Yes,
Okay. Makes sense.
glucose is like blood sugar.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So that's definitely why they call it that. And you know, people who are on insulin therapy, which is what we're most familiar with,
Right.
and you have to take test your blood for the sugar and do the injections and all of that. That's typically type 1, and that is so difficult because you're playing this balancing act with trying to figure out how much insulin you need. So you have to figure out, based on what you've consumed, based on how stressed out you are, based on what exercise you've done, do I need this much insulin? Do I need more? Do I need less? And you're constantly trying to play this balancing act, trying to get your levels at the right place.
Because that's what your body would do automatically.
Exactly. That's what because your body has sensors in it to do all of these things for you, but when those sensors don't work or they stop working, you have to do it yourself, and that's when, it becomes an issue.
Is there? I know there's not a
Cure for diabetes, right? But
No.
it's reversible.
Is it reversible? Could it be reversible? Like you eat certain foods, or you do a certain diet, exercise, whatever. Can it not have diabetes?
I think you can. I don't know if you can necessarily reverse it. Like I said, for type 1, that's autoimmune, so that's something that your body's doing to itself, right? But you can control your blood sugar levels by managing it with your diet and exercise. And so some people have what's called pre-diabetes, when your blood sugar is higher than normal, but it isn't at the level where they consider it diabetes. I think if you're at that point, you can go ahead and reverse it and make some lifestyle changes so it doesn't get to the point where your body is struggling to make those changes for you. But I really want to speak about the type 1 because we've talked a little bit about stigma. And with type 1 being specifically an autoimmune disease, it's not a choice. It's not people who have just been eating too much sugar, drinking too much sugar, and now, or they're overweight. This is something that has happened to their body that they can't control. They can do things to manage it and to help the body manage it, but stopping, not drinking sugar anymore is not going to change your body's ability to make those cells.
Right.
That's a different thing. That's not something that you can deal with. What is becoming increasingly an issue is type 2 diabetes, which is, children are getting, and with the population increasingly becoming overweight and less active, it's rising. The levels of how prevalent diabetes is rising. And so that's something that we have to focus on. We do have to focus on trying to eat healthy and trying to at least get some exercise. We have to maintain a certain level of activity so that our body can, maintain those levels itself. And you're not putting your body into too much pressure and too much work to try and maintain those levels because you're giving it more work to do. So I wanted to ask you guys what you thought. How much do you think diabetes costs Alabama specifically each year?
I'm going to say, I'm going to try not to sound crazy. Not a big number. State of Alabama, diabetes, a lot of people. I'm gonna say.
Well, let me tell you how many people have it first, and then we can make a guess based on that. Cool. Approximately 610,000 people.
610,000.
Of the adult population have diabetes.
Okay, times it.
In the U.S., about 30 million people have it.
Okay, I'm gonna say about 50 million.
Is that your guess?
Well, considering they said in the South, we got like the fattest states in the South, and they associate that with diabetes, I would probably say it's probably going to be in them billions. It's going to be in the billions. I would say, I don't know how many billions, but 610,000 people, just $10 a piece would be 600 million.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
$5.4 billion in Alabama each year.
That's right. I would say it more, to be honest with you.
Because you have to think.
More?
Yeah.
You have to think about this. When they include that number, they're talking also about the serious complications that come from having diabetes, which include things like heart disease, stroke.
Oh.
The one that everyone is most familiar with is, of course, amputation.
Yeah.
And then end-stage kidney disease, blindness, and even death. So all of those costs go into that, like managing those because
you have diabetes, all those other things is going to
are a possibility. Are a possibility. Right. The more serious it gets, then the more likely these types of issues are, and the more that you're at risk for these types of issues. Basically, at the root of it, eating healthy and exercising is going to reduce your risk for a lot of these things. So that's definitely the number one takeaway. But there are a lot of free tests that you can take online that help to tell you what your risk is. So you can take the test online. It takes about 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I did one, and it asks you your age, your weight, how active you are, you have any family members, like I know you do, you have any family history of diabetes, and then it will give you like, okay, hey, we think you need to go and get tested, or you should be okay,
Where did you do this test at? Where is this?
I'll post it first, but you can use it at the CDC. You can. Okay. There's also the American Diabetes Association. Yeah, you have to be careful because one thing that we definitely can all address and try to do better about, that they have done some research that says is very linked, is drinking sugary drinks. And so sweet tea, which I know is your favorite.
Oh, don't do that, Kim.
Sweet tea.
That's why I tend not to like this segment.
Sweet tea.
But I tend not to like it.
Soda. They have like 10 teaspoons of hot sauce. How did I drop into sugary drinks?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I said sweet tea soda. He said, "What about hot sauce?"
I'm just saying.
That's my life, guys. That's my life.
I love hot sauce in Tabasco. I'm just asking. It's like sweet tea.
And
Okay,
lemonade.
sweet tea is what you really need to focus on
Okay,
because
okay.
they have drinks like that, sweet tea, the soda, the energy drinks, all of those things. They're putting like 10 teaspoons of sugar into each can, each glass, all of that. That's a lot of sugar.
Let me ask you. Now, when we was growing up, Benny making a test. I don't know about Jamaica. I'm
Mhm.
just assuming, maybe, probably, but Kool-Aid. Man, we used to make the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Because I guess my next question is does black people suffer more? Is there more in the black community? Kool-Aid.
Definitely.
Put all that shit
Definitely.
in the Kool-Aid.
Definitely.
I'm being funny but serious at the same time. Because I remember we used to make Kool-Aid. I mean, as soon as that junk ran out, we used to run out of sugar trying to make the Kool-Aid.
There you go.
Back in the day.
So think about how much sugar you're consuming,
Yeah.
you're putting into your body, giving
Then
it to
you put
kids.
Sugar on your oatmeal in the morning.
And your grits, people put sugar on their grits.
I mean sugar, I say cereal. Sugar on your oatmeals, and your grits, your cereal. Just thinking. Of course, your coffee.
Yeah, people are just consuming so much sugar, so you don't really add up how much sugar you're consuming throughout the day. If you're having coffee, if you're
Right.
having a soda,
Right.
if you have a lemonade or a sweet tea, all of those things are adding up, right? And then you're also gonna get glucose from starchy foods, from all these different areas, and your levels are gonna go through the roof. Especially when, like you said, it's part of our culture to consume things. We had Tang. That's what I drank growing up, which is the same. Yeah, it's the same.
It up with sugar though?
Yeah, it's the
See, we
same,
never had
powder
that.
drink
I
and
would see the Tang on TV and be like, what in the?
it's the same thing. I mean,
Oh, is it? Okay.
It pretty much the
Larry
same
Langford
thing.
drank. You remember when he went
What's
to jail? Larry Langford drank. When they asked him what he was drinking, he was in jail.
oh my
And
goodness.
he was like eating Tang and honey bun. So you drank Larry Langford drank.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know who Larry Langford was when I was growing up in Jamaica. But
You don't know
anyway,
Larry?
but anyways, so we have to be more aware, especially with the sugary drinks, especially for the kids. Kids don't need to be drinking soda, so if we could try to stay away from the soda, that
I'm
would
gonna
be
tell
great.
you, a real sugary drink that I see a lot of people drinking.
Mhm.
Young people, is Mountain Dew.
Yes, Mountain Dew. A lot of those lighter people think that lighter soda is better for you as opposed to
Right.
like Coke,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to have some truth to it. It's supposed to be slightly better, but the sugar is the same.
Mountain Dew is sugar.
The sugar is the same.
Sugar.
I remember once I went to a health fair and they had this table that was set up, and I think it was the American Heart Association. They had this table set up, and what they did was they had each of the drinks that you're familiar with. They had a Red Bull, they had a Coca-Cola, they had even like a juice box, and in front of it they had a plate with cubes of sugar
To represent how much?
to show you how much sugar was in each one, and it was completely jarring
Oh my gosh.
because
I
we
can
don't
imagine.
think about it.
How much sugar? How many cubes of sugar was in like a Red Bull?
I mean, you were talking about like 10
I had to stop
cubes of
drinking
sugar,
it. I had to stop drinking Red Bull.
It's a lot of sugar.
I
That's
was
had
scared of them, man.
Man, I used to drink them. I used to buy 2 of them.
what?
Yes. Like when I got on the road when I was traveling back and forth, I would drink 2 of them and be wide open. And I had to stop it. I had to stop myself from drinking it because it became a habit. It was becoming a habit
Yep.
to drink it. Like whenever I get on the road, I gotta get 2 Red Bulls.
Mhm.
When I get on the road, I get 2 Red Bulls.
Yep.
So then it became, all right, I'm not on the road, but I want a Red Bull. I'm just gonna get a Red Bull.
You know what?
I
That
decided.
I'm so happy that you said that because one thing that we don't think about is how we build our own cravings, right? So a lot of the times we feel like you know how people say trust your gut. A lot of people feel like you can trust your cravings. Like, oh, I'm really craving something sweet is because my body needs the sugar. That's what people tell themselves, which is not true. If you have been training your body to have this level of sugar, you're having 2 Red Bulls a day. Then when you stop having the Red Bull, your body's gonna say, oh, I miss the sugar, even though that's not necessarily what you need or it's not the healthiest thing for you. So if you're drinking, 10 cups of sweet tea a day, you wake up in the morning, you have to have sweet tea with your breakfast, you have to have 2 cups of sweet tea with your lunch, you have to have sweet tea with your dinner. When you try to have water, your body's going to say, oh, I'm craving something sweet. But it's because it's what you've exposed your body to and what your body has gotten used to. So if it's one thing that you can do to tackle your risk for diabetes or for anybody that you know is to drink at least one less sugary drink than you would typically drink.
So instead of me getting a big old thing of tea and the big old gallon cup of tea and lemonade, I might need just to get the little bit.
You might need to get the water. You tried it. You tried it. You might need to get the water. One of my followers has said on Instagram, fruit is the best sugar boost, and that's true. There's a lot of sugar in fruit, and people forget that we've
Naturally,
gotten so used to the cookies and the
Yeah.
the processed sugar, the fake sugar that's put on donuts and all these things you get out of the vending machine. But if you have an apple, there's a lot of sugar in there. If you're having any of those fruit, they're natural sugars. So try to consume those natural sugars. as opposed to having the sweet tea and the lemonade and the Red Bull. Yes,
But
yes.
you know what happens? You eat the natural sugar, which is in an apple, but you put stuff on it.
You
know what
put
I'm
in
saying?
stuff on your apples.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, people do. Chocolate covered apples. You
I know
have
you ain't lying. I remember one
candy apples. You know what I'm saying?
When
You
they-
do stuff to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
They used to put sugar on them.
Yeah.
That was common.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that we have to break out of, and the only way we can do that is gonna be hard, and it's gonna, it's not gonna be your favorite meal. The next time you have an apple, it may taste really sour to you, but you have to try and break that cycle, especially for our kids who are building their taste preferences. It's really important that we have them drink water with their meal. Put water in the juice so they can have half juice, half water. At least water it down a little bit so they're not having all of this sugar all the time.
But that's like what you said at the beginning. It all goes back to, how we were raised and brought up.
Yes.
So if I'm used to have water, have juice, then and I'm always drinking it as a little one, and as I grow older, I'm used to it. Right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, I know this is going to seem crazy. It's commercial. I think it's Dr. Pepper commercial. And it's a funny commercial because they're building everything around Dr. Pepper.
Right.
Lifestyle. I don't know if you've seen those commercials or not. But anywho, it says, the whole basis is the parents came to the boy's room. And it was basically like, they came to him like he was doing drugs or something. He wasn't. He was actually drinking other sodas.
He was cheating
No,
on
my
Dr.
bad,
Pepper.
my bad. He was watching other sports. The
Oh.
sport's supposed to be football, Dr. Pepper football, blah, blah, blah. So they was like, hey, you watching soccer? You mean, what are you doing? Baseball. And he was like, I want to try other sports, okay? And so then the mom was like, no, it's like me trying another drink. And the dude was like, there's another drink? I didn't know there's another drink. All we drink is this drink. So that's my point. Like, if you only have what you have, and that's what you've grown up with throughout, then you're not going to know the other stuff. Like, if you're a vegetarian or vegan from, say, instant birth, and you grow up and that's the way you've been raised, then you're not going to have the taste. I don't know.
No, that's an absolutely
It's
a
going to be
great
a part of the
point.
taste for you to have for indulging things.
Absolutely.
Like meat, pork,
We understand why people have these taste preferences.
steak. Yeah.
But also, if all you've ever known is all of your aunties and uncles get older and they're
Exactly.
sitting down and they have to get their foot cut off, or
Yeah.
they constantly have to, check their blood sugar levels to get insulin and whatever, we're talking about ways that you can change that.
Yeah.
There's some negativity that comes from the things that you've been used to your entire life, right? And there's some changes that you can make. And a simple one is to drink at least one less sugary drink every day and to give your kids less sugar. Because you have to remember, two kids, they're going to get somebody's birthday at school, is this holiday, that holiday, there's always candy that's circulating. Somebody's uncle is going to bring donuts to school for no reason. So they get introduced to even more sugar. So the least that you can do is cut back on the sugary drinks.
Yeah.
And give them sugar-free drinks or water. Water is always a great option.
And see, that's what's so interesting about diabetes too, because I was reading up and stuff because it was kind of prevalent in my family as well. And what I read was it was more so a learned behavior than actually people, what's the word I'm looking for? Developing it through their folks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hereditary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Hereditary.
hereditary, but it was saying like, you teaching your people, like you said,
Right.
drink soda, do
Right.
this.
And that's
Right,
for type 2,
right.
because type 1 is it's genetics.
Oh,
So
type
that's-
1 is genetic.
Yes, so
Type
that's
2 isn't.
right. But there's
So-
some they're thinking there's some genetic factors, but it's
Maybe.
mostly lifestyle choices.
But like
yes.
Benny said, it's lifestyle. Just think back, way back, back in the days of ancestors, when
Right.
ancestors didn't have the quality of life that the other people around them had. They had the scraps, they had to make do. So when it came to eating, it was whatever we can eat to make or enable us to survive
Right.
in that time, right? But in the long run, we actually aren't surviving because it's produced these defects, which is diabetes. So
Right.
because of our diet of eating a lot of pork, and, what do you say, other things that contribute learned behavior over time. Boy, sit down and eat your, whatever that may be. You know what I'm saying? So, boy, go and make that Kool-Aid.
Right. We eat a
I
lot
don't
of
want water, Ma. Okay, we'll make Kool-Aid. I'll make some Kool-Aid for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no water, Ma. I've been saying it a lot. Ma, I don't want water, Ma. I don't want that. I want something else. Okay. I'll make some.
When you have too many options like that, I remember my stepdad, I'll never forget, when they used to go to the grocery store, you might get your own cup of it, the first thing I know, you don't go running through that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Don't run through that, and you can't go in the refrigerator like that. It was like going in the refrigerator was like a task. And she heard that scream, dead. So a lot of times, and then we ran out of stuff quick too. So water was like the best option. Hydrant water, hose pipe water, water.
But it's important. Water is your body needs water. Your body's like 70% water. It needs water to survive. It needs water to maintain its levels. So you definitely want to consume as much water as you can, and you definitely want to try and to cut back on the sugary drinks. I know it's really easy to drink them. I know it's culture. It's what we've been used to. It's what we've been exposed to. But you can make some decisions that are going to have a better effect on your life moving forward, long term, that are going to have better effects on you. Try and stay active. Try and do a little bit of physical activity. Try and drink some water. And arm yourself with knowledge. Do the research. Talk to your doctor. Ask what the questions are. How much at risk are you, based on your age, your weight, your level of physical activity, your race, and see how you can tackle those things. Okay. I always say arm yourself with knowledge. That's the best thing. Drink some water today, please.
All right, I will.
Please.
Oh, you want to talk directly?
I am. Drink some water today, please.
All right, appreciate it. Health with Kim every Wednesday at 8:30. I like that one right there. It definitely hits home for me. Again, my father and my big brother both have that.
And he loves sweet tea.
My gosh. I love sweet tea.
Your father who has diabetes?
Yes, love it. And hot
there you
sauce.
go.
And hot sauce. Okay.
I think you're okay on the hot sauce.
Okay. All right, we got to check in with traffic coming back straight up 9 o'clock. It's the Whole Team Morning Mix featuring DJ Shawty Slim.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Do you have any questions that I didn't answer? Adrian, I know it's called sugar. They call it sugar here too. Thank you.
All the time, like, man, you call me. If you sit there listening and you call me, so I'm gonna answer. Come on, man.